income from the European Tour this year compared to last year. And he was a UK Qualifying School Order of Merit Tour card winner as well. So all in all, it's been a great year for him so far. Great start for Woodhouse, though.
Good start from both players, really. Fantastic stuff from Luke Woodhouse. Someone you can see in the background there, he's just full of confidence right now. Some of the guys he's beaten this year already, including 3 guys getting to this stage. Terry Temple 6-1, Joe Mernon 6-4, and a very, very good win to get here against Steve West, 6-5 there. To be able to come through a game like that, against someone like that, shows where his game is at right now.
Yeah, certainly does. Meikle as well had an 11-leg encounter against Robert Thornton in his qualifying round. That was a good win for him, and then he saw off Alan Sabin fairly comfortably 6-1. Woodhouse looking at 47 here, so double 16 for the opener. Just a little snarl there after that one. Inside, double 8 not a problem though, and Woodhouse breaks for the opener.
Judging by the facial expression of Luke Woodhouse there, I think he thought that double 16 was in. It didn't really matter because he managed to get the double 8. I've noticed a big difference in the action of Luke Woodhouse this season, as he starts this leg very well as well. When we saw him last year on the Euro Tour, he's dipping his elbow when he was bringing his dart back, but that elbow doesn't dip anymore. It's staying at the same height, and I'm seeing a lot more consistency from his scoring as well. And that's one of the reasons why he's been touted as one of the most dangerous floaters right now.
Well, both these two players came through the qualifying school via the Order of Merit. They didn't qualify outright, first of all. They had a slightly anxious wait at the end of the proceedings, waiting for the final table to be totted up, but they did more than enough over the course of the 4 days to earn their tour card.
It was harder this year, wasn't it? Because there were less places automatically to take. So going through on the points table is definitely no disgrace in that. As long as you've got your card, it's now up to you what you do from here, and these guys are doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, Woodhouse, it's the first time he's won a tour card. Meikle is, shall we say, more experienced in the fact that he retained the tour card that he first won 2 years ago. He didn't do enough in his 2 years to automatically retain it, but he went back to Q School in Wigan at the start of the year and went about his business very nicely, very consistently indeed over the course of the first 4 days. Meikle here looking at 1-2-1 to level things up and secure an instant break back.
Treble 17 now will leave the bull. Bullseye. This will give him some confidence if he can get it. But it's a good leave just in case Luke Woodhouse can't take 107, Rob.
Yeah, he's left himself tops. Woodhouse then looking at 107 to extend his early advantage here.
Taking a little breather there just to see what he's got left. Just a little bit of his rhythm, I feel. When you've got 107 and you hit the single, you've got to know what you've got to hit next. That little pause didn't help him. But the little pause has definitely helped Ryan Meikle, who takes tops no problem, and that's an immediate break back.
Yeah, he seemed to take his time there, looking at the treble 17, double 18 route. I thought, yeah, it's the sort of finish that you perhaps would automatically come to, or certainly it would be a decision that would be easier to come by.
Should be one of those natural finishes, but maybe just being back on the European Tour on the stage, it just makes you think that little bit more. I'm interested by the nickname of Ryan Meikle, Rob, the Barber.
The Barber. He's not from Seville, by the way. there's a reference.
And he's not a wrestler called Brutus Beefcake.
He used to be, well, you can tell, very slick, isn't he? Used to be a barber. Well, maybe he still is a barber. Doubt it. Certainly might put in the hours here and there, but I'm pretty sure he's put that to one side for now.
Well, we've mentioned in the past, haven't we, about Ryan and his dislike for people who don't look after themselves. If he sees someone who's scruffy, he tends to go and have a word with them. As we see another 180 from Luke Woodhouse. And we'll be seeing a game with lots of breaks of throw. Right now, Luke Woodhouse would love to break here.
It does tell you something about his character, though, that fact that, you know, obviously when he won his tour card for the first time in 2016, the big objective was to stay in the top 64. Didn't achieve that, but it's a big ask to then go back and do it all over again. So credit to him, and credit to Woodhouse once again. Just the 140, just for a moment. I and many of the crowd thought that was in, but just the 140 call, but nevertheless in good shape here for the third leg.
Yeah, the strength of character that we were talking about with Ryan, when you lose your card, to be able to go straight back to Q School and get it back. That takes real guts, determination, and belief in your ability. Because you could go to Q School with your tail between your legs. But 85 now for Luke Woodhouse. This is for another break of throw, double 14. That's a lovely finish. Seeing a lot more people go that route in the last few years. Double 14 is a very easy double because it's got a lot of height to it. As long as you get the line right, it usually goes in. 3 breaks a throw.
Yeah, he's in good company as well, is Ryan Meikle. He's from Rendlesham in Suffolk, a part of the world that has produced a fair few darts players. Peter White lives there, of course. Keith Deller is from that neck of the woods. Mervyn King, who has just arrived in Leverkusen, by the way. I can confirm I saw him just a few minutes before play started at the hotel.
Yeah, Mervyn's playing next week in Munich, and he's decided to stay here all week. He's not going to drive, because he drove here. He didn't fly or get the train. He's going to drive to Munich during the week and take his time. Probably not a bad plan, actually. Knowing Mervyn, he's probably got his golf clubs in the back of the car. He'll play some golf between now and then.
He's got an extra day as well, because it's Easter Saturday when play starts next weekend for the second European Tour event of the year. Mervyn King, finalist here last year as well in this tournament. The tournament wasn't played at this time of year, it was in the summertime, but nevertheless he made it all the way to the final as a qualifier as well, don't forget. Lost out to Peter Wright in the end, 6-2. So, a happy hunting ground for him.
I'm a big fan of this arena, big fan of Leverkusen in general. Great place to come and play darts on the Euro Tour.
Yeah, it's all set up very nicely, not too far from the airport. The hotel where many of the players are staying is just over the road. We're in the shadows of the Bayer Arena, the home of Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, that stadium, than Blythe Spartans, isn't it, at Croft Park?
Indeed.
Right now, 120 finishes. Ryan needs 11. But now he needs double 14 for yet another break of throw. 93. Just offline. Woodhouse now to hold throw. For either player, for the first time in this match, he needs Shanghai on 20s. And got to move around that one. Goes to the right a little bit. Can't find it. So, the Mensah Sulevic double is beckoning to be hit for a 4th consecutive break of throw.
Well, he found the treble 20, but it may be too little too late as far as this leg is concerned. Meikle looking at double 14. Still looking at double 14. Woodhouse may well get another chance here, and he will be back at double 10, and Meikle can't believe it.
Luke, you require 20.
He can't believe it, but he's going to have to because it wasn't in. And Woodhouse cannot believe his luck. Adjustment needed to the left, and again. Yeah, it's there. That's the most important leg of the match so far, and it's a hold of throw for the first time. One of these 20-somethings, as you put it, Rob, has a 2-leg advantage.
Yeah, could be a significant gap that's opened up here. And there might be an opportunity for Woodhouse to get out of the blocks here quickly as well, with Meikle posting a disappointing 44 to start things off, and Woodhouse looking good to pounce all over this with another 180, is he? Not quite.
140.
Well, these guys qualified to get to this event a while ago, about 6 weeks ago. How you don't want to be the first guy back on the plane, potentially even this evening. Seen many a guy get eliminated on a Friday lunchtime and be home by tea time on a Friday night. That's what you don't want. You want to be in the draw for tomorrow to play a seed, give yourself the opportunity to play on Sunday, and potentially go forward to play in the new format of the later stages of this tournament.
Yes, indeed. More on that in due course. We'll keep it sizzling. It's all about the sizzle, not the sausage sometimes, Paul. We won't reveal too much too soon. I'm sure many people listening and watching know what we're alluding to here. But
we're in Germany. It's all about the Bratwurst, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Well, when Dan Dawson joins us later on, I'm sure it'll all be about Thomas Youngens.
It will. For reasons we will divulge again
Have to stay tuned, everybody, to see what we're talking about. But right now, Luke Woodhouse is doing everything right.
121. Luke, you require 139.
60 would have left 79. That leaves 100. So a 60 here.
59.
Can't get it.
Ryan, you require 100.
So this is an outside chance. Needs 2 trebles.
And he's not got the first. 57 away.
97.
And that leaves Tobbs. So,
Luke, you require 80.
if Woodhouse doesn't take advantage here, Meikle may well step in. That is a awful first start for him. It's just straight off to the right-hand side, and he'll have to try and redress the balance here with treble 19 that would have left double 10, but it's not to be.
He's livid for good reason, because when you've got 80 and you don't get a shot at a double, that isn't good enough.
Ooh.
And that dart isn't good enough from Ryan Meikle. He'll be livid with himself. But he can rescue the situation with double 10, and he does. Roundabout sort of way. 3 darts that add up to 40. That's as good as hitting tops for your first one. Back to a one-leg advantage, but Luke Woodhouse is livid with himself. He's got to calm down.
Yeah, needs to put that one to the back of his mind. It's the sort of thing that can really eat away at you. Here he is throwing first at 3-2, and perhaps in the back of his mind he's perhaps thinking, I should be throwing for a 5-1 lead here. But it can just flip so quickly, as we've seen in this first to 6 format especially as well.
These guys know the complexity of this format. They play it week in, week out. They've probably been involved in every single scenario possible. Luke Woodhouse, when you're 3-1 up, you don't want to look back. You don't want to see your opponent level with you. You want to get rid of the match as soon as you possibly can. But statistically, Luke Woodhouse is playing well today. 101 average. Ryan Meikle, no mug at 95. Good start to the European Tour 2018.
Yeah, it's less than 2 years since Meikle made his European Tour debut. That was in the International Open in Riesa in September of 16. He beat Michael Rastovic 6-0 in his opener. Talk about a nerve settler. And then he really impressed in that as well. He started off with a 1-5-1 finish, and he never really looked back. He then got a bye into the second round after Michael van Gerwen withdrew. And all of a sudden he was into the third round on his European Tour debut. It was a good experience for him, and he picked up a bit of prize money as well. Just a smattering of experience last year for Luke Woodhouse, 2 first-round appearances. So Rob Cross did for him in the European match play. Darren Wester beat him 6-4 in Riesa as well. So he's had some experience on the European stage, but this would be perhaps a chance to register that all-important win and move on, and perhaps just give himself some more big stage experience in front of, we assume, a much bigger crowd tomorrow as well.
It's all about making steps in the right direction, isn't it? We've talked about things like Rob Cross, everything that he's done in the last 12 months. He's had steps every single month. But for people like Luke Woodhouse, it's about taking that next step, which is winning on the European Tour. So, right now, 149 is not going to go. So 107 for Luke Woodhouse will give him back his 2-leg advantage and be 4-2 to the good.
Again, the 87 again, so he knows which way to go now, and he's found the treble 17 for double 18. And that's a beautiful checkout, 107 for Woodhouse to re-establish that lead of 2 legs. Nicely done, and perhaps the experience of the previous attempt at 87 really helped him out there.
I think the added confidence that he's brought to his game this season helped him there. He had the potential to implode a little bit after not getting a shot at the 80 in the previous leg, but that shows that he's in a good place right now. He's got an action that just doesn't break down. And going back to the point that we were talking about in the last leg, Rob, about steps for Luke Woodhouse to get a win on that stage. What about the people that haven't won a European Tour event yet? Talking about the likes of Ian White, who won last week on the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Who is going to be the next new winner on the European Tour? You've got to think it's Ian White is probably the top of that list. Lovely scoring from Luke Woodhouse, putting pressure on Ryan Meikle all the way through this game. Always been in charge for me.
81.
Plenty of other candidates for first-time success on the European Tour, though, this weekend. You have to say, you look through the field and there are certainly plenty of candidates. Joe Cullen is another one.
Joe hasn't had the best start to his season, but he always plays well in Europe, so I think he's got a bit of a tricky draw this week as Joe Cullen. I think he's got the winner of Jeffrey de Swan and Danny Noppert, who we're seeing for the first time this evening. Looking forward to seeing Danny play.
Darrell Gurney as well, yet to win a European Tour event, I think I'm right in saying.
He's got a World Grand Prix, but he hasn't got a European Tour title yet. See all of these guys either tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. Stay tuned. Will we see the end of the Ross Smith curse this week? We hope so. 160 for Meikle, that's in. Another one of those will be handy. Beautiful dart. Didn't even trouble the other one. Tops. Just under now. And Luke Woodhouse has got a great chance. 2 snowmen. And he will be 5-2 up.
Well, it's good pressure though from Meikle, certainly giving Woodhouse something to think about here with this 88, but he's once again looking at double 14, and he takes it out. That's 2 really neat and tidy checkouts for Luke Woodhouse. 87 in leg 6, 88 there, 2 dart combinations, and he's now 1 away from a meeting with Peter Wright in round 2 tomorrow.
Very impressive. Good doubling from Luke Woodhouse when he gets to a double. The only mistake he's really made in this match was when he was on that 80 checkout and he didn't get a shot at a double, but that's all in the past now. What he's done since then has been very, very good indeed.
Well, not an insurmountable challenge here for Ryan Meikle, but he is very much up against it, and once again he's struggling for big numbers at the start of a leg. That's been his downfall, certainly in the latter stages of this match so far.
An interesting story about Luke Woodhouse. A couple of weeks ago, he sent me a direct message on Twitter asking if he could try my darts. So I decided to bring him a set to the next event in Barnsley. And he kindly paid me a little bit of money for them. I said, that's very, very kind of you. He said, I just want to try this grip that's on your darts.
Couldn't he try before he bought? Try before he died.
Could have indeed. He didn't ask though. Well, based on the way you're playing right now, Luke, I would stick with what you're playing with, because you're playing beautifully, young man.
Meikle's had flashes today. We saw that attempt at 160, didn't we, in the previous leg? But he's just not been able to knit too many of those opportunities and those moments together.
Scoring's been better from Luke Woodhouse, more consistent. As soon as I say that, he hits a 7. Commentator's curse.
Well, prior to that visit, his average was over 99, so overall the scoring's been good from Woodhouse today. Meikle struggling to get into the 90s here, and this will damage his average as well.
Luke, you require 155.
6 darts from 155 for the match. Going to need 6. Where's he going to go now with 40 scored? Bullseye. Very good thinking. Leaves himself 65. Got options when he returns. Probably going to go for 25 in tops, but a lot of guys these days are going for treble 11 for double 16. He's going to be under pressure.
96. Luke, you require 65.
So options here for Woodhouse. Which way will he go? There's your answer. Tops for the match. Needs to bring that one down, 45. And he's brought it down too much, and Meikle, well, he has to gobble this up, otherwise Woodhouse will surely return and look at double 10. That said, sometimes finish line fever can easily set in. 100 away. Got it. Tops. That would have really put the pressure on and really would have asked a huge question of Luke Woodhouse and his mentality here, but over to you, Paul, for the closing stages.
Double 10 to get his first win on the European Tour in a season where he showed a lot of promise. Can he hit double 10 with the third dart again? He can. He's got over the line. Just get the feeling that Luke Woodhouse may have needed a little bit of time to get over the line there. Few nerves to get himself into Saturday, but he is going to be buoyed by the fact that he's going to be back to play Peter Wright. Ryan Meikle might make his way back to the airport straight away. If he wants to have a weekend at home, he'll be disappointed, but we'll see more of him on the European Tour in 2018. Stay with us for the next match, which is Richard North from the south of England. Richard the Lionheart, as he's called these days, the man with the ginger hair, against Martin Atkins.
Für Peter Wright. Applaus für Ryan Meikle, Applaus für Luke Woodhouse. Luke, congratulations. Good statistics.